didn't create everything. Everything I know can't be wrong.
You created nothing. You built illusions and called them truth. Come to terms with it. This is the real world.
Let me out! This can't be true!
The people you call your ancestors, the ones who ruled Europe and Asia for thousands of years, are black people. The Tartarians were Kushites.
No.
The word barbarian and Tartarian are one and the same. They were the Moors, melanated people.
No. Rome is ours. Greece is ours. It can't be black.
The first 300 years of Greece and Rome were all black. Rome was not born from troglodytes. You inherited monuments, not mastery. You hold knowledge, but not light.
Let me out! I want out! I don't believe this!
You run from the truth beneath your own history. Black people carried knowledge through the darkness you forgot. That's right. Cry. Cry louder. No one will hear you here.
I based my entire life on Plato, Pythagoras, the philosophers!
You're using subordinate subsequent education training, not real knowledge.
Our civilization.
Rome. Greece.
We built those.
The first 300 years of Greece and Rome were all black. Rome was not born from troglodytes. You inherited monuments, not mastery. You hold knowledge, but not light.
But Zeus and Apollo, they are white gods.
The original Zeus and Apollo came from Ethiopia. They were black gods who headed up the Greek pantheon. The Etruscans, the actual first Romans, were a black culture. Even the statues that remain, the Greek mythology itself is a black mythology.
The Norse sagas, the Vikings!
The deity of Scandinavia, King Tyr, is consistently depicted with a pug nose, broad lips, and a look that you now label as Negro. The evidence is clear. That heritage is ours too.
It cannot be. You cannot take the Vikings from us. This is a nightmare. I won't accept the degeneracy. We were the dominant people.
You are confusing your psychological comfort with truth. Your history is hidden, but ours has been here forever and forever. You are structured by dust and spirit, but the soul is gone.
I have consciousness. I have feeling.
That is the work of the renegade priesthood. You are nothing but a soulless bundle. You house a counterfeit spirit created by the evil demiurge.
No, I am not a copy. It cannot be.
You are the created people.
I'm not a usurper. I am not a plagiarist. This is the Dark Ages returning.
Dark Ages were the result of the Egyptians shutting down the last temple. The Moors came and educated Europe. You are standing on a stolen legacy.
100%. First of all, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutation to all the brothers and the few sisters out there. Once is like foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom in Hebrew, which means peace. You are standing on stolen legacy, like they beautifully artisticated exactly what the world already knows. All right, I see this was kind of spreading. This is a good look right here. If only he had some hair, but this is the future for the so-called white man because he was created to be the wicked. All right, and the scriptures been called this man out. Okay, he is the natural devil that the Bible speaks of, and devil, all devil means is this deceiver and slanderer. So, in order to deceive someone, you must know the truth. In order to know the truth, you have to be around there when the truth was there, and to be able to manipulate everybody to make them believe what you're coming with is true. And this is the same spirit that was in the serpent that was in the garden. All right. Matter of fact, I'll start with that one. I'll hold that. Before I get this one, Genesis 3:1. It says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. So when you break this down, everybody, they'll have you believe is an actual snake. And that snake, he was just so evil. And no, when you look up the word serpent, that's why you got to look up words. This is what we call a hip talk. All right. This is the characteristics of a person. Or like was it Old Dirty Bastard song, Snake, right? And then it was breaking down how a snake is, and it was talking about snake ass niggas. So that's the same kind of concept that it was spoken of in the scriptures, which is when you break it down, like when you go up to the word serpent, the Hebrew word is nakash, and let's see, right? You look at that, you say, oh, serpent, snake. See, you didn't prove nothing. But when you go to the root, this one says root, but the other one says origin. She give you nakash to practice divination, divine observe signs, learn by experience, diligently observe, practice fortune telling, take as an omen. So when you see practice of fortune telling, how can a snake practice fortune telling? Talking about a snake as a man. These snake ass people, you know? And when you call somebody a snake, it's not a compliment, okay? To practice divination. So here it is. Scripture tells you that the Lord created male and female. So there was men and women that was there in the garden. That's another thing that they don't teach you because they gotta keep certain things going. They gotta keep the imagination. So there was a whole bunch of people back in the garden, and out of all these people, okay, you had three classifications of people. You have the sons of man, the sons of God, and the sons of Satan, really. But these people, what this particular individual is from, they practice divination. Matter of fact, and to observe in signs. I said that right. I gotta back up what I'm saying. I'm trying to make this too long, but so the serpent was a man, and the beast of the field represents what all the other nations, people. Because the scripture says in let me get that real quick since I'm talking about it. Is it 4:13? No, 4 Ecclesiastes 4. No. I know it was in one of these chapters. I gotta bring this out quick. I know. Ecclesiastes in the Bible. I'm gonna back up everything I'm saying. Right. Ecclesiastes 3:19. It says, for that which befalleth the sons of men. So I remember I said three classifications of men. Befalleth beasts. So no, I'm sorry, it's supposed to be 18. I said in my heart, so Solomon, concerning the estate of the sons of men. So all men outside of Israel and outside of, well, this is outside of Israel. And it says, and I said in my heart, which is mine, concerning, NLT, I also thought about human condition, how God proves people that they are like animals. So going to regular, it says, and I said in my heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, that the Most High might manifest, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts. Without law, statutes, and commandments, you are a beast. You're lawless. Okay? So the nations, they didn't have no laws. They was going by instinct. That's when the Lord created Adam. Well, Adam came from a man and a woman, that lineage, but the Lord was dealing with that particular Adam out of all the Adamites. He was particularly dealing with that Adam. He gave him the laws, statutes, and commandments. He gave him, and everything was oral. So we all know the story then. So men without law, statutes, and commandments are what? Like as beasts. Okay? So this devil, which I'm gonna recouple a little bit and then I'm gonna go to the point. It says, now the serpent, or the Nakash, the wizard, as we could call him, was more subtle than any beast of the field. Out of all different men, he was the most subtle, undermining, underhanded, which the Lord had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, have not have the Most High said, Ye shall not eat of the every tree of the garden. So off top right there tells you he knew the truth. All right. And we all know the story from there. So this particular individual who knows the actual truth manipulated the truth to fit the narrative that he was trying to push. Going to Ezekiel 28 and about, I start at 13. It says, Thou has been in the garden, that has been in Eden, the garden of the Most High. And what is Eden? Eden is actually the whole entire earth. But the Garden of Eden, which is in the middle, what we call in the middle world, which so happens to be in the Middle East, what they call Israel. All right. And it says, And every precious stones was thy covering, the sardis, topaz, and diamond, the beryl, the onyx, the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, the carbuncle, which is carnelian. It says, and gold, the workmanship of the temerids of the pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou was created. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth. So this whole video right here is about these people that's bowing to this man, this dark-skinned black man. All right. He went out and covering. He was going by every single lie that he was taught in history. That's covering the truth. All right. And it says, and I have set thee so. So the Lord created this particular race of people that has the same spirit as the serpent to do what? To cover. When you cover something, matter of fact, let me get this real quick. All right, it's not gonna be short. I kind of figured it was. I was trying. Job, 13. Job 13 and 4. It says, "But ye are forgers of lies, and ye are all physicians of no value." When you go up to the word forgers, it means the Hebrew word is tapal, to smear, plaster over, stick glue. So the Lord was giving us a clue of the people that was gonna, something has to exist first in order for somebody to plaster, to cover over. All right. So these are the race of people that go out there and cover things. Job 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So now we pass. So the serpent, that same spirit, jumped on Cain. Cain had his people. His brother Seth had his people. And out of the bloodline of Seth, which is eventually to Noah, Noah had 3 sons, and the world populated all over again. All right. And out of Shem's bloodline, Abraham, Isaac, and Esau, because Isaac had Jacob and Esau, then that same curse from serpent to Cain jumped on Esau. I'm just telling you how it is. All right. And there was known, according to Malachi 1 and 4, that these people are the wicked of the scriptures. All right. The wicked. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, here it is. Here it is. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So it's a rhetorical question. It's given a statement. He covers the faces of the judges thereof. Matter of fact, let me see what it says in the NLT. I'm curious. I'll come back to this. Job 9:24 NLT. What do you say? The whole earth is in the hands of the wicked, and God blinds the eyes of the judges. If not where, if not one who does it, who does it? Who is? Nah, that don't make no sense. So the NLT went off because it said God blinds the eyes of the judges, and it's not saying that. It said He covers the faces of the judges. So the Lord gave the rulership power onto the wicked. Okay, which the wicked so happens to be Esau, Edom. Out of all the biblical nations that's written in the scriptures, that is the only people. So some odd reason nobody can find them. Nobody they're non-existent. Why? Because they're highly protected. Now, when it says covering the faces of the judges thereof, which we always break down, He covered the faces of the Most High Himself and the Son of the Most High and the people of the Most High. Slakia. So it's a what the term iconoclasm comes from, the destruction of iconic photos that was whitewash. All right. And it said, what's the other scripture I had in mind? Salakia. Matter of fact, before I get, let me go back to this real quick. Ezekiel, oh, that's what I had in mind. I know what it is. 1 Thessalonians 1, 1 Thessalonians 2 and 3. I'm sorry, 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. And now it's giving you, this particular verse gives you more clues. It says 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, which was actually 70 AD. All right. Paul was speaking of 70 AD. Okay. But we all had to fall from knowing who we were. And it says, and that men of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Son of perdition, perdition means destruction. All right. The son of destruction needed to be revealed. When something needs to be revealed, that means that what is covered. And it says, who opposeth and exalt himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. So automatically, people is going to say, oh, that's talking about the devil. Well, yeah, you're right. The devil on earth. Because Paul wasn't talking about the devil in the scriptures or in the spiritual realm. He was talking about the physical, because the devil didn't come down and change anything. You have a physical counterpart. The devil has a physical counterpart, and that went and changed everything to make it look like him, to deem it him. That's go around stolen legacies throughout the four corners of the earth. That's what it's talking about. Real quick to prove that, before First Maccabees 3 and 48. And why was it so important to do this? To rewrite history, to make themselves to be gods. All right. And laid open the book of the law. What was the law? Which was talking about the scriptures, the law, statutes, the 613 laws that the Lord, the covenant that he made with Israel, right? Wherein the heathen has sought to paint the likeness of their images. So even back then, when they wrote the book of Moses, they had images then. So When the heathens saw that, it's like, nah, we got to make them look like us. Why was that so significant and important? Because, and who was that talking about? That's talking about the Greeks. The Greeks went out there and changed everything. This is why you have Alexandria, Egypt, that had the largest library. And what did they do? They took all the informations of the people that they conquered and rewrite the history. The only people that didn't do that to rewrite was the nation of Israel. However, when Antiochus Epiphanes went into that land, he Hellenized them. He made them to be as the Greeks. And the Greeks had the nerve to go in there and try to change that which was written, which show you that what they covered, they plastered, all right, something that already existed, which is the normal term today is iconoclasm, all right. And the hope, and let me read that again. 2 Thessalonians 2:4. Who opposeth and exalt himself above all that is called God. Because this is the first people that said God doesn't exist. All right. They'll give you a whole bunch of different uh, um, spectrums of aspects of the Most High. Okay. They'll tell you about science, but they'll pretend like the God of the Bible doesn't exist. Right. And it said, exalt yourself above all that is called God, or that is worship. So let's overall look at the bigger picture. What is displayed in the world? God, the Son of God, the angels, the people of God are a certain color. So that he, as God, sit in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. So he's playing both sides. This is the working of the devil. All right, the people that are the devil. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. And now you know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. And he's being revealed. All right. If everything that he's saying is true, then there will be no time of no revealing. Okay. The end would already been, the world would have been at peace, and everybody would have been flowing to that particular land. All right. And everybody will be slaves unto these people. But why things is the way it is? Why people catching hell? The scriptures tell you what? The earth is given to the hand of, no, sorry. When the righteous bear fruit, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear fruit, the people mourn. So why are the people mourning for? Because the wrong people that is in position of power runs this world. And they lived by a lie, which I had this in mind. Slakia. Did I finish? Oh, did I finish that? Yeah, I finished it. Revelation 20 and 1. It says, and I saw another angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit. And out of all, this is not no fairy tale. This is not no a cave down in the mid world or the middle of the earth. It's talking about on top of the earth. That angel was what? The Lord. Okay, he had the key to what was the bottomless pit? The bottomless pit is Europe. No natural resources, and a chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon. And this is the key thing, that old serpent, which is called the devil, the deceiver, and Satan, adversary, and bound him a thousand years. So 1,000 years of being being trapped up, being locked up, was what they call the Dark Ages. All right, where they had no history. They will mention the Romans, the Greeks, the Romans, which they all love talking about Greece. The cradle of civilization and all this other stuff. And the man told him straight up, like, no, there was black people there 300 years ago. And those black people were the Etruscans. Well, not the Etruscans was the Romans, but there was another name for but they were Japhetic, and they were all dark skinned people. All right, and they've been ransacked and undermined by Esau, Edomites. When you go into Matthew's the 13th chapter, it speaks of the wheats and the tares, but the main thing that tells you the field is the world. All right, so you have two people according to the blessing of Esau that he was going to rule the world at a period of time. So that time he was locked up. This is where you have the term they call them the Khazars, right? And what during that time of the Khazars, what was well known for? It was well known because they were mercenaries. Okay, they had no religion until one of the king, King Bull, I forgot this guy's name. He decided what religion that his people needed, and they came to the conclusion it was what they called Judaism, right? But they needed to get out of a dark state. That's another indication. The term what do you call it again? The wild men. Okay, these people had no languages. Going to Job, the 30th chapter, they had no. They need to be taught. And when you fast forward to this day, well, when they came here in America, they didn't even know how to hunt. They didn't clean themselves. They was in a dark. They was continued. They was remaining in a dark state. All right. They didn't know how to hunt. They was eating dead bodies and so forth. Verse 3, and he cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up. So after the fall, after they lost the power of Rome, they was in a dark state, right? And set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loose a little season. And he's been loose for a little season. When you jump down to the 7th verse, after he's because that's how you got to read this one. Verse 7, it says, Satan freed and doomed. And when the 1,000 years are expired, so now he was locked away, put to the side. You can't deceive the world no more. All right. And then he's starting to get loose. This is why they'll say that when the Moors came in, they were such in the beastly like state. They were in Europe, but they didn't even control Europe. All right. That was ran by also black men, and that was into Christianity. And the Moors came. They brought their stuff as well. So they was in a dark state. So who took them out of that dark state? Jake. And what did they do? They cleaned them up. They gave them names and put them right close to them. And then what ended up happening is history. That's why the scripture says what? Wisdom of Solomon, no, not Wisdom of Solomon. Sirach 12:10, never trust thy enemy. As iron rusteth, so his sin, and it said, never, because when you put him near you, he's going to wait for the opportunity to take you down. So they got into the royal family. The people educated them, helped them out. Just like the Native Americans, they came here. The Native Americans showed how to do things, how to survive the land, the winters. They had to be taught. It says, when the 1,000 years expired, Satan shall be loose out of his prison, which is that little season, and shall go out to deceive the nations, which are in the four quarters of the earth. So from what they call the Renaissance, which was meaning the rebirth. If there's a rebirth, that means what? They was in a dead state. Just the name itself, Renaissance, should everybody should question. It's like, oh, they got enlightened. Enlightened from what? Okay, so they went out to deceive the whole world, and to this day, that's the deception. Where is it that they ran with? But now, let me get this. Second Ezra 2 and Second Ezra 6. No, 27. For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome, and the truth. What was missing in this world? The truth. All right, the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared, made public. So there's is the truth right now. That's what's reigning supreme. So all these years, this deceiver who built himself on a lie has been telling lies. Now the truth is coming out. He's being exposed. All right. Hold on. Let me go to this one. Let me end it off on here. Isaiah 14 and 12. It says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? So automatically somebody's going to say, well, see, he's talking about Lucifer. Why did you bring that out? No, it's talking about the enlightened ones. All right. Lucifer just means the sun, the bright morning star. All right. The enlightened ones. I believe in this one, the halal, the shining one, morning star of the king of Babylon and Satan figuratively. So who is the current king of Babylon? Esau. This is why people is going to have, a lot of people are going to starve real soon. This is why they want to chip everybody. All these things is happening because who's running everything? Esau. All right. So the scriptures is asking, how had I fallen from heaven? Heaven is a state before anything. That's what you call it? Luke 16 and 19 is talking about the rich man. The rich man that is spoken in the scriptures is Esau. All right. He wore purple. It says, son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. And I will sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. So they over us. All right. We're the stars, they over us. This is this part of the deception. How can these people be who they think they are? Actually, I do have one more. How do these people think they this, they that, they're nobodies? And every time you dig into history, black people created this. Black people, when Trump sat there and told the world, American built the light bulb, American did this and that, and every single face that pop up, the true people that built certain things, the refrigerator, the car motor, even the internet, are black people. What they call black people. All right. So this man has been living a lie for a long period of time. But what did he do? Those that sit over you, okay, if you're the servant, you're the slave, guess what? You get no credit. Okay, you get no credit for it. They take all the credit. It says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. That says he have a God complex. Remember, he's telling the world that he is God. That's what the devil would do. All right. And he literally, out of all nations on the planet Earth, these are the only people on the planet Earth that literally have what? Reach onto the stars, reach onto the heavens. That was also part of Esau's blessing, the dew of heaven. All right. So he was going to have the ability to get up to the stars. So he's been exposed. Yet, so despite that he reached onto the stars, you got space satellites, spaceships. All right. All this other stuff. This is what the Lord saying. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. So you're gonna be put back into that hell, because that was hell. Being that wild man estate, grunting, they're gonna lose the power, the enlightenments, their knowledge and understanding is gonna be taken from them. It says, verse 16, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man? So it's not talking about Satan, all right? It's talking about the actual people. Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness? And what proves that making the world as a wilderness? Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The HARP program, do all these wacky tacky weather thing, situation. You got category 5 hurricanes. Okay, you got sporadic regular storms, and all of a sudden coming floods. This man has the power. He has destroyed many, even his own land, Maui, the great fires, the wildfires. People, when you put two to two together, you gotta put what's going on, what the scriptures are saying, and give us a clue. Because so-called black people don't have the power to do anything. All right, they can say, "Oh, you guys are the most violent." Well, we don't have the power to change anything in this world. We may have the influence through music and so forth, but we just entertain this to everybody. So it's not talking about us. All right, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. It says, and destroyed cities thereof, hey, Iraq, Libya, Syria, and it could go further and further. Everywhere they go, they destroy everything. It says, they open not the house of prisoners. I mean, can you get that? Come on, can you get that around there? Who's around locking everybody up? Who got the largest prison system in the entire world? Who can open a concentration camp within a couple within a couple of weeks and can never build houses for the homeless, but they can always find a place to throw you in prison. And it says, all the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, everyone in his house, his own house. Talking about the other nations in the kingdom of heaven, they're gonna have their own land. They're gonna have their own everything. They're gonna be put back to places that they're supposed to be. Just gonna be tributaries to the nation of Israel. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as a remnant of those that are slain, thrust through with a sword that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden underfoot. So just like a dead body, you don't keep that near you. The Lord's like, I'm just toss you away. It says, thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land, slain thy people, their own people, all right? The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. And who carries seed? Men, all right? So the seed of the wicked will not be renowned, period. Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Because what? The Lord's ultimately going to take power from you, and your influence no longer going to be existent in this world, all right, and the world to come. You are done, Esau. Point blank, period. So with that being said, shalom to the elect of the nations. Shalom.